Inspiring connection. Restore. Renew. Reconnect. Live. Laugh. In love. Connections. Getaway experiences. Workshops. Unique Getaways live with Jill Reynolds.
The Connection Show. Restore, renew, and reconnect in community. Live, sponsored by Braveheart Workshops. And joining me today is my friend from Michigan, Dorothy Yarrington. Welcome, Dorothy.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. I'm really glad to share my experiences.
Oh, that's amazing. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Jill Reynolds, and I would love to share a bit about Dorothy's bio. So I'm going to read that to you now so you know a little bit about her. She's a clinical social worker and therapist who received her Master of Social Work from Wayne State University in 2019. Her life is guided by connection to others, whether it be through feelings, experiences, conversations, or support. Accepting the inevitable hurdles and challenges in her own journey is the root of her foundation in DBT, CBT, mindfulness practices, self-reflection, advocacy, and understanding others from diverse backgrounds. She has learned that beginning to look within is often the birthplace of expanding ourselves outward to new possibilities. With a strong passion for trauma-informed care and challenging stigma, Dorothy hopes to shed some light and inspire new perspective to increase mental health awareness. She is here to promote well-being, self-care, coping skills, and guidance towards a meaningful life in the present. Dorothy believes her story is just beginning. What about you? So thank you so much, Dorothy, and we'd love to know a little bit about how you ended up social work. If you could share a little bit about what led you into this direction.
Yeah, I would love to. So I always felt in my heart a little bit like something was missing from my life, or that I was unheard. And this feeling of disconnect growing up. And the first time that I felt, I would call it a feeling of validation, or a feeling that someone listened to me and understood what I was going through, was when I met the social worker who was a social worker of my high school. And I met him my senior year of high school. And that's when I felt like, wow, he's a social worker. And if he can make me feel understood or heard, that's what I'm going to do with my life. Because if he's able to make me feel this way, it felt like I was like, he saved my life, because that's what I felt like I always needed. And if I can be that social worker for somebody in life, that's what I'm going to do with my life, because that's what I feel like. I had this sense of just loss and confusion, and I was like, wow, if I can do that for just one person in my life, that's what I want to do. So I knew it then, that feeling of disconnect. And that's when I knew, I was like, social work, that's it. That feeling of connection.
That's amazing.
And that.
So besides your teacher then, who are some people that have influenced you in this journey then? Yeah,
I found a lot of inspiration from Brene Brown. She is really such an innovator in the way she speaks about vulnerability and connection and living wholeheartedly, putting yourself so out there that there's nothing wrong with all emotions. There's nothing wrong with living life to the fullest and being so okay with discomfort, and knowing that whatever you do, feeling those feelings of fear and those feelings of excitement and those feelings of newness when you're going out to do something new, and when those feelings of like, is this the right thing? What if I make a mistake? That's vulnerability. That discomfort and that not knowing is what everybody expects. But if we don't push through those moments and let what happens, we'll never really know what's on the other side. Some big influencers, I follow a lot of people on Instagram. Some of those names.
How about Dr. Laura Wood?
Yes, Dr. Laura Wood, who was amazing in our Braveheart women workshops. I attended one of those. February of 2017 was my first one. And then July 2019?
Yeah.
2018?
19.
So two of those. And the second one was co-ed. And Dr. Laura Wood, phenomenal. It was internal family systems drama therapy. Incredible. Really participating in the first I learned through that experience that I experienced a lot of deep trauma in my life, and had some major breakthroughs during that first program, which changed me for the better and have enhanced my own professional work as a therapist dramatically. And that's why I'm so informed with trauma-informed care. Mm-hmm. She's profound, such an amazing, caring, intuitive teacher, professional, speaker, dramatic. Nidra Tawwab is a wonderful influencer, therapist, and her posts on Instagram are also really inspirational. I follow other relationship therapists. I follow motivational speakers, other DBT therapists, which we'll talk a little bit about. A lot of diverse individuals who practice all sorts of forms of therapy. But it's guided me down this road of really being authentically yourself and okay to feel whatever you feel, because you're going to feel. All feelings are valid.
Yeah. Well, I'm pleased that you had shared what you just did, because I too found so much healing with Brene Brown and TED Talk and her talks on vulnerability, and how it's so important to look at our shame and our authentic. And that was the reason when I decided to start Braveheart workshops. I did it as a result of Brene Brown. You know, be brave, be brave, be strong, be courageous. And I ended up myself going to on-site workshops in Nashville, Tennessee, and doing a Daring Way Brene Brown workshop for myself, an intensive. And then by me doing that and naming my workshops Braveheart, and then finding Dr. Laura Wood, those have been two of my inspirations as well. So we're on the same page. Mm-hmm. Yes. What's the hardest part of your job as a therapist?
Hardest part, I think, is when you hear some of those really challenging life hurdles that everybody goes through. And myself, I work at an organization. I'm from Michigan. I work in Detroit, which at this time is going through a a lot of struggle with COVID-19. I am a community mental health provider. It's really challenging with some of the limited resources that we have, and working with a vulnerable population. Hearing some situations that are when clients are in crisis and when there is unparalleled strife and struggle, that it hurts to hear, and it's something that you wish no person had to go through. Mm-hmm. And when you're hearing those situations, that separation of what do you take home as a human being and it's that compartmentalization. What do you leave at work? And finding that balance of how do I do self-care for myself? How do I do everything I can to support this individual, make sure their needs are met with every single resource that I'm able to provide, mm-hmm. and make sure they're safe. And also, when I leave today, make sure that I'm safe, making sure that I'm taking care of myself so that I can provide all the best care possible and go home and continue to take care of myself despite some things that I may have witnessed or seen, mm-hmm. or come across during this day.
So with yourself, transitioning a little bit to you, Dorothy, if you could, and you don't have to go in depth of the story, but if you could, mm-hmm. share with the audience a little bit about that first Braveheart workshop that you went to, mm-hmm. and like how you found out about it. You drove from Michigan to Chicago. You arrived at that workshop and then saw what took place there, and then you doing your own work and then transitioning back home. So I guess what I'd like to hear with you, if you wouldn't mind being vulnerable, of remembering getting in the car, driving there, and if there was any apprehension, any feelings of what am I doing? I'm going to turn back. Like what was going on for you when you attended that first Braveheart workshop?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember I was experiencing some challenges actually while I was in my grad program at Wayne State, getting my master's of social work. I was having some challenges in school, ironically doing a paper on figuring out my something that had to do with my family. And I was struggling to write that paper because I had some internal kind of turmoil about that paper. And then I really felt like I needed a break anyways for my mental health. And so you reached out to me, Jill. I don't know if you remember, because you heard that I had been in some previous treatment for some other issues related to mental health. And it's okay. Often, most people who are in a professional field of mental health or social work or therapy have some history of being in that field and understanding. That's often the beautiful part that relates to the field of mental health. And I think it's pretty amazing. And so I'm driving there just really actually calm and relief because I felt I did need a break. And I thought, I think this will be really helpful for me. Not afraid because I had been in situations like this before, going into some setting, feeling like, yeah, I feel like I could revamp myself with some time chatting with new individuals, get a little revamp. So I got there and it seemed welcome and comfortable. And then in those first sessions we had, New people. I'm rather an open person, comfortable with new people. Everybody was very kind. Everybody was there for the same reason. So everybody was chatting. Everybody was new. Or sometimes we kind of talked about the possibility of chatting with new people in upcoming events. So, but it was really warm and welcoming. Everything was arranged. Was really nice. And then we started to have this beautiful arranged kind of the way Laura set everything up. I loved it. I really thought it was interesting. I'd never done anything like that before. And for me, it triggered some things and in a way that I never expected. And as I kind of started to, what I now know was dissociate actively, I really was like, whoa, this is a real thing for me. I have some pretty deep trauma that is very real. And I have a full-blown dissociative disorder. And for me, it was just, again, it was like, wow, so much awareness, and to have that stimuli and to just finally again feel like, whoa, this had all been kind of creeping up for me before I came there, and writing that whole paper was like, whoa, there was a linkage there, and I had been experiencing the symptoms at school, and then I was like, this makes sense. And so it was just kind of a buildup, and then it exploded.
Well, what I think was so beautiful about your work was, it was almost as though you had sunglasses on, and all of a sudden you could see through the lenses. It was almost like like there was a blinder on, and you didn't even know it was there. It was really kind of cool. It was like did not even know this was part of my life, because many of us go through life just like Groundhog's Day. You know, you wake up, the alarm goes off, you eat your breakfast, you take a shower, it's like Groundhog's Day, the same thing over and over. And then all of a sudden, someone throws something in there, and you're like, wait a minute, where did that come from? And I remember distinctly, it was like, wow, I'm awake again. It was like, now I know what's been going on that I didn't even know was going on.
Yeah.
It was really kind of cool. If I remember right. And I remember one thing a little bit differently. I remember like 2 days before, you called me and said, I don't think I'm going to come. And it was like right before, like you were so excited about coming, and 2 days before you're like, I don't think you're going to come. And then you and I talked, and I'm sharing that with the audience because many times people will want to do some type of really hard work, and they sign up, and then a few days before or a week before they come, they want to cancel. And I remember me talking to you and convincing you, Dorothy, I really think that this is going to be beneficial. And you go, okay. And then you got in the car, and then within 20 minutes of you being there, you knew you were supposed to be there. Like, I remember that. What I'd love for you to share, though, is after you left the retreat and these new glasses came on, I remember what I love to do with my attendees is after they leave, I love to call them 6 months later. So let's fast forward 6 months after the retreat.
All right.
Of what the new Dorothy looked like with these new glasses on.
Well, 6 months after that, I was that would have been my winter semester, or my summer semester of grad school. I spoke to my therapist. I got a new diagnosis. Figured out the kind of core root of a lot of trauma in my life, and address things. And I had some deep inner work that I had to do. Gratefully, though, I had a better and much more clear understanding of things that had happened in my life that, for me, I kind of feel like I had been gaslighted my whole life. And now I was like, no, this all really did happen. So it was a wake-up call for me, a feeling of fullness and understanding the same thing I felt when I had spoken to my social worker.
And what about relationships that you had before, like a boyfriend or anything? Was there any relationship changes when you went home? Oops. Oops, your picture went away. Oh, there you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
That's okay.
It changed about a year later.
About a year later.
And yeah, so things did change, and it was difficult. It was hard. I think I fully became the person that I really was truly meant to be. I found my voice. Mm-hmm. I found a whole new me that I truly accepted, and I found my core. I found my peace and my validity rather than what others wanted me to be or what they saw of me. And my self-acceptance skyrocketed. Whereas I think it was difficult for other people to hear me speaking up. Whereas usually I remained silent.
And then transition that then to 2019 now. So 2019, something inside your spirit said, I'm going to go back for round 2 of Braveheart Workshop in July. And so again, this time it was in Nashville, Tennessee, and a different drive, a different venue, and now it was going to be co-ed. So share, if you wouldn't mind, how things transitioned and why you made a decision to come back for the second Braveheart Workshop.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to come back with the new me that's now letting go of the past, accepting where I am now, and not living for that future of how will things be? Oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. Now I'm here with my life today satisfied, not living in that past of how things were and just trying to go back and change, but it's because I'm satisfied in this present moment today. And here is where I am, who I am. I would never change anything that happened, honestly, because I wouldn't be this woman that I am today. And I'm so glad to be who I am. I think all my experiences have shaped me to be the person, the therapist, the social worker, the brave, vulnerable individual that I am. And it's amazing because sometimes we're really, really bad, but sometimes we're really, really, really good. And I'm proud of who I am, even when I know sometimes people don't understand, but it's okay.
And you've made so many transitions, a new apartment, a new job. So many things have changed. I mean, so unbelievably transformational in your life that I'm just like, I'm honored to know you and honored to see your journey. And I think that's one of the things that I love the most about doing the Braveheart Workshops is meeting amazing people like you, Dorothy, where you come into a workshop apprehensive, and then you leave with just unbelievable transformational power. And then seeing, I think the most fun that I have is calling my attendees afterwards and then finding out where their life has come. And you've been a part of my life now for a couple years now, and I'm just so grateful to see the transformation in your life. And so I guess I'd like to share a little bit then. So with this pandemic and the social distancing, and you do live alone, what has social distancing and connection looked like for you during
I'm
this time?
sorry.
That's okay.
My
Don't worry.
camera is low battery. Social distancing for me has looked like reaching out, providing some therapy and inspiration through my Instagram account. That's my therapy page. Family Zoom sessions, spending time with my boyfriend, who I know has been spending his own social isolation. So, as he and I are both spending our time, I'm lucky because I've been able to continue to work providing telehealth services to my clients. So that's been a blessing to still be able to be employed at this time. And
then I would say then with the connection, and now we're halfway through the year, have you seen anything change as far as goals or dreams in your life? What would you say would be some goals or dreams in your life for the rest of this year that you see?
Honestly, my goals and dreams are more related to things from within. Continue to be honest, continue to be compassionate, help others, be compassionate and kind towards myself, begin a family within the next 1 to 2 years, continue to be vulnerable, be mindful of how my reactions, my actions, my behaviors affect other people. Stay active in my life and the things that I do that keep me grounded and self-aware. Be conscious of the way that I interact with other people, and continue to be on a path towards health and growth and change.
And so when you can do a getaway experience, what would a getaway experience look like for you?
Someplace within the United States, and I do like, it's kind of my dream to go to Colorado. So I like places with mountains and with trees and nature. I think it's really beautiful. I feel connected to nature and the earth elements.
Well, because you said that, I just connected with a man and his daughter who just built a brand new retreat house in Lyons, Colorado, which is right outside of Boulder, and it's an 8-bedroom right by a river. And so I'm going to be planning a retreat there. So we'll have to have you come to the Colorado one, and we do have one in Montana at a horse ranch too. So that one's coming up. So
beautiful.
Yes. And so if someone said to you, you have to get rid of all your apps on your cell phone, Dorothy, and you can only keep 2. What's your 2 must-have apps on your phone?
I would say probably iTunes, because I can't live without music. Singing is another one of my favorite hobbies and passions. And then probably Instagram, because of my connection to other therapists and the things I do on there to help reach out and provide kind of coping skills to other people.
And what's one fun fact about you?
I have 2 cats, Chili and Basil, and they are like my human children.
and another fun fact that you just said is you like to sing.
Yes, very much so.
Awesome. Do you write music as well?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to do part 2 and you share a song with us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. What I'm going to do now for the audience is I'm going to put up on the screen Dorothy's bio that you can take a look at. And she's got her Instagram account here and her LinkedIn account so that you can reach out to her and connect with her and learn more about her. So That's her bio there. And so thank you so much, Dorothy, for joining us. It's been such a pleasure. And what I'd like to do now is just to share a little bit with the audience about the Connection Show. We just started a few weeks ago, and we've been interviewing amazing leaders just like Dorothy. And so if you have an interest in being on the Connection Show, please reach out to me at braveheartworkshops.com, my website, where you can fill out the contact information and reach out to me so we can get you scheduled on the show. But for you in the audience, we want you to know that you are so important to us, and we're so grateful that you're listening to all these amazing leaders. So what we've done for you is we've designed the Connection Show Gathering Tribe, a new Facebook page that you can go to, sign up and join on that Facebook page, and give me your email address, and then I'll give you the Zoom link so that you can link in with us on Monday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, 6 o'clock Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be meeting this Monday night. And many of the leaders we've been interviewing, when they have an opportunity, will be hopping on those Zoom calls too, so you'll have an opportunity to get to know them a little bit better. So please join us on Monday evenings and go to the Connection Show Gathering Tribe Facebook page now so that you won't miss out on being a part of that amazing connection group. And I look forward to connecting with you more, Dorothy, and am just so grateful that you could join us today.
Yeah, me too. This has been wonderful. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you so much. And everyone, have a wonderful day. Thanks.
Let's connect now. We can dream together to renew, restore, and reconnect with wellness in our life. Go to braveheartworkshops.com. Join me for weekly Zoom connections on Facebook at facebook.com/braveheartworkshops. Thanks so much for joining the show, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday night.